Once known for his rebellious charm and unforgettable characters, Johnny Depp has always kept the world guessing.
You know which way is the hospital?
The hospital, I think it's that way.
Okay.
But nothing could have prepared fans for the striking transformation that's now stealing the spotlight. His new look has people doing double takes and wondering what sparked such a dramatic change. Is this just another role, or the beginning of something far deeper? As the buzz grows louder, one question remains. What's really behind Johnny Depp's latest reinvention? The answers might surprise you. Johnny Depp's rocky start. Johnny Depp was born in Owensboro, Kentucky, into a working-class family with deep Southern roots. His mother, Betty Sue, worked long hours as a waitress, while his father, John Christopher Depp, provided for the family as a civil engineer. From the beginning, Johnny's world was one of instability, marked by frequent moves that kept him from forming lasting connections. By age 7, the family finally settled in Miramar, Florida. But the move did little to ease tensions at home. The volatility of his childhood reached a peak when Johnny was 15, as his parents' divorce left him grappling with emotional fallout that would echo throughout his life. His mother's remarriage to Robert Palmer provided some solace. Palmer became a positive influence whom Johnny later called an inspiration. The music, however, became a refuge for Johnny from all these instabilities and an outlet for his emotions. At 12 years old, his mother had given him a guitar, one of those acts that turned out to change lives. It would become a comfort zone and a lifesaver for him in very trying periods. He would engage in music practice with great dedication, locking himself for hours, teaching himself chords, and trying to copy the rock legends. His passion was quickly growing from a pastime to a calling. He was so drawn to the music that he dropped out of Miramar High School when he was 16 to pursue it full-time, instead of following an ordinary path. When, much later, he reconsidered and tried to re-enroll, the principal encouraged him to follow his passion, validating the very artistic path that Johnny was determined to take. Johnny's growth of artistry established him deeply in the local music scene of Florida, where he joined a band known as The Kids. Their raw energy and genuineness opened opportunities for them to perform as opening acts in front of world-renowned artists such as Iggy Pop, which gave Johnny an initial taste of a performer's life. Certain of the band's potential, the members moved to Los Angeles to chase after the elusive promise of a record deal. They renamed themselves Six Gun Method and began playing in local clubs in order to attract the attention of industry executives. But like many aspiring musicians, disappointment was the only thing that became concrete for them. In the meantime, to make a living, Johnny picked up jobs like telemarketing, construction, and even selling pens over the phone, all the while refusing to let go of his dream. Despite the group's eventual breakup without signing any deal, Johnny's musical endeavor actually laid the foundation for his strength and creative spirit. It also imparted lessons in flexibility, persistence against rejections, and the ability to seize unplanned opportunities. His early failed band and a marriage to a makeup artist by the name of Lori Ann Allison were pivotal in ways he could hardly have predicted. Through Allison, he met Nicolas Cage, the introduction that would change everything about his artistic journey forever. But just as Johnny seemed set on one dream, an unexpected twist sent him down a path no one, not even he, could have seen coming. When the music faded, Johnny Depp's move from the world of rock bands to the film industry was not part of a master plan, but rather the result of fate, friendships, and survival instincts. After relocating to Los Angeles with the Kids, later known as Six Gun Method, Depp saw his dream of a record deal slip away as the band dissolved under the pressure of the city's competitive music scene. Left without his band and with mounting bills, Johnny juggled odd jobs, including stints as a telemarketer selling novelty pens just to scrape by. Around this time, his relationship with Lori Ann Allison, whom he had married in 1983, also came to an end. Yet this chapter of his life was not without silver linings. Allison introduced him to Nicolas Cage, setting in motion a new direction for Depp's creative pursuits. It was Nicolas Cage who first planted the seed of acting in Johnny's mind, recognizing a quality in him that could translate to the screen. Depp had no formal training and had never seriously considered acting. He saw himself as a musician, first and foremost. But with Cage's encouragement, he decided to audition for A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. The casting process proved serendipitous. Wes Craven's teenage daughter saw Depp's headshot and insisted he was right for the role. That instinct paid off. Despite his lack of experience, Depp landed the part of Glenn, the doomed boyfriend whose death scene would become one of horror cinema's most iconic moments. Depp's foray into acting was somewhat accidental, yet it was his personal charm and charisma on the screen that drew the attention of many casting directors. The need to pay rent would soon evolve into a far greater artistic plate for him to spin. Small parts came through in the film world for Depp. A tiny role in Private Resort, 1985, a teenage comedy, followed by a role in Platoon, 1986, where he played a young translator caught between the moral complexities of the Vietnam War. These early roles were far from glamorous, but they gave Johnny invaluable experience and a steady paycheck, something his already misfiring music venture had not given him. Some rankings were thrown off this current arrangement by 1987 when Depp accepted the lead role in 21 Jump Street, a TV series about undercover cops in a high school setting. That show made him an instant teenage heartthrob, a place he found uncomfortable. He felt that it was all a very hollow recognition, one which concentrated more on image than craft, and second, one which he had come to see as a limitation. Jump Street would provide him a platform to be recognized. With the show's success, he gained the finances and the luxury to be able to play roles with aesthetic relevance to his own ambitions. Depp's bold reinvention. While Johnny Depp's popularity was on the rise due to 21 Jump Street back in the late 1980s, public acceptance alone did not satisfy him as an artist. The show featured young undercover cops, which naturally appealed to the viewers, and almost overnight, 21 Jump Street turned Depp into a teenage idol. Magazines featuring his face adorned the covers in droves. His popularity soared, but at the same time, Depp felt increasingly alienated from the persona that was being marketed to the public. He has been open about how he felt like a commodity, a product rather than a performer. He then grew impatient with all the expectations that placed more value on appearance than ability. His discontent with such an insipid side of fame became one of the very forces responsible for reshaping his career. Depp was determined to create a new identity for himself and started looking for roles that would take him away from that mold that he's stuck with ever since 21 Jump Street. He consciously tried to take on projects that dared to be quirky and artistically demanding. In 1990, he signed up for the role in Cry Baby, a satirical musical that humorously criticized what Hollywood tried to create about him. With the lens of John Waters, the film catered to him a new newspaper without the usual typecast, a mischievous greaser with referential playfulness toward 1950s teenage culture. In the same year, though, he also starred in Edward Scissorhands, a dark, poetic tale told through the lens of Tim Burton. In the 1990s, Johnny Depp really started to carve out a niche for himself with projects that pushed boundaries and made audiences rethink their views. He took on roles that showcased fragile, quirky, or deeply flawed characters, establishing himself as an actor unafraid to take risks. Films like Benny and June, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Arizona Dream, and Dead Man were pivotal in this journey. With each new role, he moved further away from the typical teen idol image. His portrayal in Tim Burton's 1994 biopic Ed Wood was particularly noteworthy, bringing a blend of warmth, humor, and depth that kept the character from becoming a mere caricature. These choices helped cement Depp's reputation as an actor more interested in the craft than in chasing commercial success. By the end of the 1990s, Johnny Depp had transformed from a hesitant young romantic into a highly respected actor known for his diverse character roles, his collaborations with acclaimed directors, and his willingness to take on challenging, often dark roles, from an undercover FBI agent to a wild, substance-fueled journalist, have showcased his multidimensional talent, fearlessness, and skill. Instead of resting on his early successes, he carved out a career defined by bold choices and reinvention, paving the way for what was yet to come. Hollywood's chameleon. Entering the 2000s, Johnny Depp had established himself as one of Hollywood's most intriguing talents, but it was his turn as Captain Jack Sparrow that cemented his place as a global superstar. In Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, 2003, Depp crafted a character that was entirely his own, whimsical, unpredictable, and impossible to ignore. Drawing inspiration from rock legends like Keith Richards, he transformed what could have been a standard swashbuckler into a cultural phenomenon. The role earned Depp his first Academy Award nomination and became synonymous with his name, leading to a multi-film franchise that captivated audiences worldwide. Even as Pirates of the Caribbean elevated him to new heights of fame, Depp remained committed to the unconventional artistic path that had defined his earlier career. His long-standing partnership with director Tim Burton flourished during this period, resulting in a series of visually stunning and thematically rich films. From the haunting atmosphere of Sleepy Hollow to the twisted charm of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the dark musical brilliance of Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street, Depp demonstrated his extraordinary ability to disappear into wildly different characters. His performance in Sweeney Todd earned him a Golden Globe, adding another prestigious accolade to his resume. Depp's performances extended far beyond fantasy and gothic action. He touched audiences emotionally with his portrayal of playwright J.M. Barrie in Finding Neverland, winning an Oscar nomination for his performance. Convoluted, he tackles real-life roles: substance smuggler George Jung in Blow, and gangster John Dillinger in Public Enemies, both incidents of thorough research for the characters. He is also very versatile regarding his voice work. In Rango, he showcased his ability to either endear or tickle the funny bone in giving life to animated characters. He always mixed artistically ambitious projects with solid box office productions, and at no point would he allow himself to be anything except an artist. His career has grown into such magnetic creativity and versatility by the turn of the new millennium. Several Golden Globe wins, an Oscar nomination, and an enclave on the Hollywood Walk of Fame have made him much more than a star, considered as an artist who has simply refused to abide by the rules. Depp imbues each role with his very own charm and intensity to make it memorable, whether in the fantasy dimension or complicated real-life figures. Johnny's journey through love and loss. Johnny Depp's personal life has often unfolded like a parallel narrative to his career, filled with intense relationships that drew as much attention as his films. His first marriage, to makeup artist Laurie Ann Allison in 1983, came at a time when Depp was still chasing rock stardom in Los Angeles. Though their union was brief, ending in 1986, Allison played a pivotal role in his life beyond romance. She introduced him to actor Nicolas Cage, the connection that ultimately shifted Depp's path toward acting. Their divorce was amicable, and Allison remained quietly supportive of Depp in later years, even during the turbulence of his legal battles. This early relationship set the pattern for Depp's tendency to form bonds that blurred the lines between personal and professional life. In 1990, Depp began having an affair with Winona Ryder, his Edward Scissorhands co-star, thus beginning one of Hollywood's most talked-about relationships. The grandeur of Depp's gestures, including his well-publicized Winona Forever tattoo, added fuel to the media fire. The relationship, however, could never take the pressure of fame, and in 1993, the couple broke up amid rumors, with Depp altering the tattoo to Winnow Forever as a tribute to his dark humor in the face of his love dying. Shortly thereafter followed a passionate, often turbulent love affair with model Kate Moss followed. The couple's tempestuous love made them tabloid fodder from 1994 to 1998 and was characterized by displays of public affection, extravagant gifts, and a shared struggle with the darker side of fame. The personal life of Depp looked more balanced after meeting French singer and actress Vanessa Paradis in 1998. The pair stayed in a relationship for more than a decade. They chose a quiet life, far from the Hollywood limelight. Family: daughter Lily Rose, born in 1999, and son Jack, born in 2002. For Depp, greatest joy is being a father, because, he says, kids ground him and give meaning to his life. Even though he and Paradis were never legally wed, they continued to show mutual respect in their co-parenting arrangements for their two children, even following their separation in 2012. It was probably one of the exceedingly rare glimpses into Depp's softer, more private lifestyle. Amber Heard's entry into his life manifested during one of the stormiest and most public phases in Depp's life. After parting ways with French actress Vanessa Paradis, he started going out with Heard, whom he met while shooting The Rum Diary. The two had steamrolled into marriage in 2015, but fights gripped the relationship. Heard filed for divorce pretty quickly, claiming abuse, seeking a temporary restraining order. Depp knew through counterclaim a long, agonizing string of lawsuits, countersuits, and public denigrations that would shadow all his work and achievements for years. Yet nothing could prepare Johnny or his fans for the battle that was about to take center stage and change everything. Depp versus Heard. The breakdown of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's marriage ignited one of the most closely watched and polarizing legal dramas in recent memory. Their relationship, once presented as a fairy tale union of two glamorous stars, devolved into a bitter feud that played out on the world stage. In 2018, Heard wrote an op-ed for The Washington Post, describing herself as a survivor of domestic abuse. Though she did not mention Depp by name, the piece cast a shadow over his reputation, and Depp soon found himself losing major roles, including his iconic part in Pirates of the Caribbean. In response, he filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit against Heard in 2019, asserting that her allegations were false and had irreparably harmed his career. All through the media flashbulb rush and hyperbolic personalities, the drama of the trial wended its way through accusation and counter-accusation of blood and vengeance worthy of a grand opera. Heard filed a $100 million countersuit, stating that Depp and his legal team were behind an American smear campaign to ruin her own good name. Sometimes, accounts housed in court records, recorded phone calls, or text messages demonstrated a toxic relationship between Depp and Heard, matched by allegations and counter-allegations of violence, manipulation, and deceit on both sides. The trial of 2022 in Virginia morphed into a cultural phenomenon, being live-streamed and endlessly dissected on all social media concerning the tangled issues at stake, leaving fans, advocacy groups, and legal analysts debating all the while. In June 2022, the verdict of the jury became a remarkable milestone in the saga. The finding was in favor of Depp on his key claims and awarded him $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages, later reduced to $350,000 because of state limits. Heard received $2 million on one count of her countersuit, which had to do with a defamatory statement made by Depp's lawyer. Each camp heralded the verdict as their vindication. Eventually, the case was settled in December 2022, with Heard paying Depp $1 million, which he promised to donate to charity, thus allowing them to close the chapter without further appeals. Not only did the trial leave its mark on Depp's personal and professional life, but it went on to change the public discourse surrounding domestic violence, defamation, and celebrity culture. Many observers see the outcome as a huge turning point for Depp, an opportunity to rehabilitate his image and fully focus on his work. The case articulated the perils of publicly played-out personal struggles while also ushering in Depp's re-emergence as a working actor, a future brightened by promising projects such as Daydrinker, where it was clear that even after such storms, a way forward existed hereon. A big comeback, After the storm. In the wake of years dominated by legal battles and media scrutiny, Johnny Depp's return to mainstream cinema represents far more than just a new acting role. It marks a personal and professional rebirth. His first major American project following the defamation trial is Daydrinker, a film directed by Mark Webb that reunites him with Penelope Cruz. The film tells the story of a mysterious drifter who forms an unlikely bond with a grieving bartender, drawing them both into a dark and twisted world of secrets. This role offers Depp the opportunity to showcase his dramatic range and subtlety, qualities that have often been overshadowed by public controversies in recent years. Depp's reappearance at the 2023 Cannes Film Festival was a signal that he was ready to re-engage with the film world on his own terms. During candid conversations with the press, Depp reflected on the emotional and professional toll of the preceding years. When asked whether he felt boycotted by Hollywood, Depp acknowledged the surreal nature of his situation, saying, "You'd have to not have a pulse to feel like, no, none of this is happening. It's a weird joke." Yet, he was quick to distance himself from bitterness, adding that he doesn't dwell on Hollywood or its politics, choosing instead to focus on the work that inspires him. With the debut of the film's very first official look, the rumble surrounding Daydrinker erupted even further. The image revealed a transformed Depp so very different that you'd think, by just looking at it, that it is a different man under silver hair, a full gray beard, piercing blue eyes, and a tailored suit, everything new and distinguished in the presentation. Such striking visuals were lauded by fans and critics alike, using them metaphorically to refer to his renewal. On social media, many expressed excitement not only about the role, but about seeing Depp embrace a new, more mature aesthetic that seemed to reflect his hard-won resilience. Daydrinker, in that sense, has become more than a comeback vehicle for Depp, since it has become almost an emblematic documentary of his will to reclaim his narrative and redefine himself in the industry. With support from the fans and the so-called pillars of the industry, this film in itself speaks of a new chapter in a career marked by brilliant artistry, but also very glaring challenges. What the buzz about Daydrinker implies is that the audiences are ready to turn their attention once again away from Depp's trials and back to what he can do, as he steps back into the spotlight with a renewed sense of purpose. Depp's bold new look. When the first promotional image of Johnny Depp in Daydrinker was released, it created an immediate sensation, not just because of the role itself, but because of the dramatic transformation it revealed. Gone was the familiar image of the actor, as audiences had last seen him during his legal troubles. Instead, Depp appeared with sleek silver hair, a full gray beard, and ice blue eyes, exuding an air of quiet strength and mystery. The photograph, shared by Lionsgate across social media platforms, showed Depp leaning thoughtfully against a bar, drink in hand, dressed in a sharp blue suit that completed the striking new look. Fans filled comment boxes with accolades and labeled this as Depp's official entry into the so-called Silver Fox era. Change was accorded with strength. It was a powerful visual statement of resilience, maturity, and readiness for a new artistic phase. While many were comparing his look with greats of the film and pop culture world, there were even some who said that the picture made him seem to have a "stay thirsty, my friends" energy. Concurrent with a stunning performance by Johnny Depp, due recognition is given by his fans and critics to the mastery of makeup, costumes, and near-production design. Almost every item of styling, including clippings on hair and beard, contact lenses, suit fitting, and everything else, interplayed together to present a character that felt lived in and layered. Hence, the transformation was not just for visual effect. It signified an extremely deep promise to a role that audiences were speculating upon. The greater the detail in the appearance, the greater was the expectation upon the film and what Depp could bring into it. The deeper meaning in the revealing of Depp's look was symbolic of redemption after a turbulent time. It stood for a chance at a fresh start for many fans, an opportunity for Depp to step away from the court drama and back into his real life, that of an artist and craftsman. That very presence of Depp in the limelight was an indicator of the audience's readiness to embrace him back. not as a man troubled by controversy, but as an actor trying to reclaim his space with dignity and flair. A Grin Reborn. Throughout his career, Johnny Depp's smile became an unexpected focal point in public discussions of his appearance, often drawing as much attention as his on-screen transformations. In the early days of his fame during the 1990s, Depp was known for his striking features, high cheekbones, soulful eyes, and a smile that reflected his youthful charm. But as years passed, his well-documented lifestyle choices, including heavy smoking, alcohol use, and a general disinterest in dental care, began to show. Depp himself seemed unconcerned, famously telling interviewers that he was proud of his imperfect teeth and that polished Hollywood smiles made him uncomfortable. For Depp, his natural, if flawed, appearance was part of his rebellious identity. As time went on, however, the state of his teeth became more difficult to ignore. By the 2010s, fans and media outlets noted how his once charming smile had deteriorated. Yellowing, staining, and visible decay became apparent during public appearances, and his trademark gold dental grills, initially part of his Pirates of the Caribbean persona, lingered well after the cameras stopped rolling. By 2023, images of his teeth, now severely discolored and damaged, spread rapidly online, fueling both concern and criticism. Dental professionals and commentators weighed in, and while some fans defended his right to look however he pleased, others saw it as a sad reflection of years of hard living taking a toll. And then, in the year 2024, this was followed by Depp's turn into a spectacular dental transformation that was more deeply symbolic than cosmetic. The world immediately saw a video of him at a little bar in the Bahamas, with the bright, confident smile showing pristine, pure, bright white teeth. Such a huge difference from what people have been used to seeing that many had second thoughts about the images being altered. Reports soon confirmed that extensive outlets had put the teeth through some major reconstruction as part of a larger effort at recentering attention on health and well-being. The response to Depp's fresh smile was very positive. Fans took to social media praising the inspiring transformation that they perceived as a reflection of his renewed personal changes. Much like his silver-haired look in Daydrinker, his new teeth became a visual cue that he was reclaiming control over the image and future. For a star whose life had been under the public microscope, this change spoke volumes not in vanity, but in resilience, renewal, and the power of taking steps, here or there, towards self-betterment. Just as fans admired his fresh look, Depp reminded the world that true impact comes from something far beyond appearances. The Pirate with a Heart Source article. While Johnny Depp's on-screen adventures as Captain Jack Sparrow have thrilled audiences for over 2 decades, it's his real-life appearances as the beloved pirate that have left an even deeper mark. In June 2025, Depp surprised young patients at Niño Jesus University Children's Hospital in Madrid, arriving in full Jack Sparrow costume during a break from filming Daydrinker. Dressed head to toe as the swashbuckling character, Depp wandered the hospital's halls, bringing smiles, laughter, and a sense of wonder to children facing some of their toughest battles. The sight of Jack Sparrow offering magic tricks, pinky promises, and kind words turned an ordinary day at the hospital into one the children and staff will never forget. Depp's unwavering devotion to the portrayal of character is what made the visitation more meaningful. Pictures and footage captured him jesting, laughing, and leaning in to establish a connection with the children patients. He wasn't merely making a cameo, he became Jack Sparrow for those kids, granting them an escape from the hospital room strife. Touching pinkies with one bedridden child and showing off his antics presented a kind and genuine visit on Depp's part. The social media was full of praises, with kind remarks about the actor, with some even calling him the best man ever to have used his honor for the benefit of those children. Johnny Depp had been visiting children in hospitals for many years, from San Sebastian to Paris to Vancouver, and from Brisbane to the United States. Wherever his travels took him, he would always breathe life into Captain Jack Sparrow, changing the atmosphere of a hospital ward for at least an afternoon. This would remind fans and onlookers alike that underneath all of the Hollywood glitz and glamour is a man who values connection and compassion just as much as anyone. For so many young patients, meeting Jack Sparrow makes for far more magical moments than anything that could ever be captured in a film. The possibility of Captain Jack's future on the big screen is still open, though no official announcement has been made about it. Still, producers like Jerry Bruckheimer have expressed hope that Depp will one day reprise the role. Meanwhile, Depp keeps that spirit alive in a way that no script or sequel ever could, by bringing hope and happiness to the ones who truly need it. Whether he sails again in a Pirates film or not, his impact as Jack Sparrow is simply being felt, one hospital visit at a time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, look at Johnny Depp's incredible transformation. Hit that like button, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and subscribe for more stories that dive deeper into Hollywood's most fascinating figures. And don't go anywhere. Click on the next video on your screen to keep the journey going.